My name is Reverend Anthea Mitchell. Officially, my title is I'm a minister in secular employment, or you might say a minister in the secular environment, because not everybody's employed who does this. And saying that, there aren't very many of us who do it. It's confusing to explain. It's not chaplaincy. A chaplain is hired to be a chaplain. That's their job. That's what they get paid for. I get paid for doing people's hair. That's my job. But I'm also an ordained minister, and I do both of those things at the same time in my workplace. So going through the discernment process, I was quite clear, in my mind at least, that my vocation was real, that I had a calling. I couldn't quite settle to the idea of stipendiary ministry. And I've spent years building this place up, and it's very important to me, the people that work here, the people that use the business, and I didn't feel it was right to leave them behind. And then I came across this idea of ministry in secular employment, and the light went on, and I thought, there we go, that's exactly what I should be doing, that's what I'm called to do. So it was obvious to me, but actually when I then started discussing this with the church, my DDO was very supportive. But as we got further into the journey, I found it was quite difficult to persuade other people to articulate that ministry clearly, because it wasn't really clear to me then how it was going to work. And it's still not massively clear. I mean, every day, is a school day really. And going through my BAP, most of the people I met on BAP were men with no hair. It's actually quite hard to explain to a bald man how it's going to work to do ministry in the workplace with women and with women with lots of hair. Men don't have any idea that sometimes women are in the salon for 4 or 5 hours. They just don't get it at all. It's absolute mystery to them. So they weren't difficult or obstructive, but I think they just didn't get it. And it took me a long time, to get through that process and to persuade them that it was real. The college, on the other hand, were brilliant. I went to see Alan Gregory, the principal, quite early on and tried to explain it to him. And actually, he got it straight away, which was such a relief. And the college have been absolutely brilliant the whole way through in terms of understanding the demands of my workplace, that I really need lots of notice for stuff. I can't just drop everything and come to college. So they were brilliant about that. They were brilliant about getting other workplace ministers in to talk to the whole cohort so that everybody understands that this is a thing, that it's real, that it's happening, and that probably in times to come it will happen more and more. I have been fortunate enough to have received an overwhelmingly positive response from the public that I serve in here. In fact, most of them I have known for many years. And they've obviously been on the journey with me, on the discernment journey, on the training journey. Well, I'm still training. And they're very supportive. But saying that, of course, I see new people as well. New people come into the business. And again, the response has been overwhelmingly positive. The worst thing that's happened is that people are just not interested. Nobody's been negative. But in most cases, people are really keen to find out more about it and ask me lots and lots of questions about how it works. People don't expect to see a priest when they walk in to have their hair done. And it can be quite jarring. But actually, it's always seemed appropriate to me, and eventually to them too, that they can open up and have conversations with me that they wouldn't necessarily have with anyone else. The whole thing about spiritual but not religious, it's huge, isn't it? And most people sadly don't associate spirituality with the church. So it's a unique privilege for me to be in the position where I can actually reinforce that we are spiritual people and that we have a lot to offer. And wearing the collar for me is what I like to call nudge evangelism. It's just a little hint every time they see me. A nudge only works if you're nudging people in the direction they already feel they should be going. So I'm not expecting, Damascus Road type conversions while people are having their head on a tool. But if it just makes people think, then I think that's a good thing. People often ask me lots of things about it, about how my life works. They ask about faith matters, spiritual matters. It's great to be able to provide that for people. People who most often will never, darken the doors of a church. I think that I get asked a lot whether it changes people's attitudes to me, and I don't think it does, but I think it changes my attitude to them. I've noticed, this is very embarrassing, but I've noticed that I'm a much nicer person when I'm wearing it.